Hi, I'm Kathleen.
And I'm Sean.
And you're listening to the Dead Baby Bear podcast.
Dead Baby Bear. Long story. What is this? Episode 97?
Is it already?
Yep.
It's this our September 10th show.
The day before. The
Are we
eve.
gonna have like a moment of silence for September 11th during this episode? I don't know.
We
you see
should.
that some old woman put on because the new iPhones were. Are we taping?
Oh, iPhone 11.
Okay.
iPhone 11 is it being released tomorrow?
Well, they just announced it. I think it's not coming out for another month or so. But so they announced it and everything. And this old woman on Twitter was like, I guess some of us will never forget, but it looks like Apple thinks it's okay to celebrate the release of the iPhone 11 on September 11th. And then a person replies, Cheryl, it's the 10th. So they're like, Cheryl forgot the date of the...
Cheryl, it's
She
the
was supposed
10th.
to never forget.
Oh, lest we forget.
What are you going to do to celebrate September 11th?
I'm going to go watch a kids hockey game and then go to Jasper Ave and do a comedy show. I think that's where it is, right?
exciting.
Yeah, it's the station or something.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Do comics still do September 11th jokes? Remember that was like the most edgy joke you could do
Yeah.
for a little bit?
For a while there was a whole whack of 7/11, 9/11, right? People had like a bunch of 9/11. Imagine if it happened in fucking, July. And we'd never get Slurpees again or something,
So bad. We
Yeah.
never get Slurpees again.
Well, I had a joke about it that was about me coming out of the building, jumping out of the building, right?
Wait, tell us your 9/11 joke. I never had one. Or maybe I did, but I don't remember it.
You probably had one that was like about somebody, well, that was the last time we ever went down on, that tower went down faster than my boyfriend.
Oh, yeah. Okay, give me some credit. I wouldn't say
No,
something as
you probably
terrible
didn't.
as that.
No, you would have had a good
I did a roast show at Tyler Morrison's Muskoka Comedy Festival, and there's
Yeah.
a comic named Tom O'Donnell. And he was in the roast, and he went up before me, and then I just made a joke about it. I said, I haven't seen something that big and unfunny bomb since 9/11. I think that's been done a million times, but that was my 9/11 joke.
Huh.
What was yours, though, about jumping? Oh, the deep knee bends.
That was when
my God.
that's right.
Deep
I
knee
jumped.
bends.
I would tell the audience that
Such a
such
good
a good joke.
I loved
It's
it.
horrible.
No, it was not horrible.
I would tell the audience that I was the only person in Tower 2 above the impact point who was able to survive. And they're like, what in the
Wait,
fuck?
were you Steve Rannazzisi?
I basically was an ugly fat Rannazzisi. So yeah, I told them that I was able to survive, and then I would say like, yeah, a bunch of people are freaking out. It's all smoky and shit. Like, we're not gonna be able to get down, and I'm like, why don't we just jump out the fucking window, idiots? So anyways, we're on the 110th floor. I smash the window out, take a dive out, and luckily I was able to survive by landing like this. And then I do like a jump, and then I do a very deep knee bend. And then I come back up to a fully wrecked human position, and then I say, wasn't all good news, though. I did have a fully blown MCL on my right knee.
That was a
And then that
very
was-
funny joke.
that
You
was
should
the
bring
joke.
that back.
Yeah, Andrew Iwanek is always like, do deep knee bends.
Yes, he loved a deep knee bend.
Well, no, he did not love anything. He loved me bombing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what he loved.
Yeah, that's
What he
true.
actually loved is me doing terribly. So.
Yeah, whenever he says I love that part of a joke, you're like, maybe I should take it out. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's probably
Yeah.
where he sees me in the most pain and enjoys it the most.
Exactly. He's like, oh, good. He likes it when other people are cutters, word cutters.
Oh.
They're cutting their own skin with words. That's what he likes. He likes when people are in pain from not laughing.
Oh yeah, that's definitely an Andrew thing. I was listening to the podcast. I was driving home from radio,
Uh-oh.
and I listened to last week's episode. And I also at the same
Were
time.
you
I
with
was like-
anybody?
no, just by myself.
Okay.
I would never make someone listen to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good point.
But so so I was driving and I'm like, nobody entered our t-shirt contest. And then as I was listening, it was because the whole time I was explaining the contest, I had the microphone on the
Right.
You couldn't hear me talking. You could just hear you going, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Good one. And that was the part where you were like, we are gonna, and I was like, oh, you're gonna threaten them.
Yeah,
like
that's
you started.
exactly. You can only hear you saying, so you're starting with a veiled threat.
Yeah. It was like, if you don't do this, you're not getting the shirt,
You're not
asshole.
getting the shirt. I think that maybe we'll just like do the contest again because people didn't hear it. Because we still have a size large shirt, this beautiful shirt that I'm
There's some,
wearing
like-
right now.
That is a nice one.
It's
I'm glad that I got to the size that I did. Usually I'm offended by a double XL.
You got a double XL?
Yeah, but
Is
it
this
fits.
a double XL?
I don't know. Let's check it out.
I was like, this feels like a big extra large.
I'm bad with ladies' hair. Oh, this is a 2.
Oh my god.
That's a Reitman's medium.
I'm a Reitman's medium.
I am
2X everywhere else.
I actually did it again this weekend because you reminded me of it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm a Reitman's medium.
I really want to. Whoa, no! I really want to kiss. There's a
Oh.
spill in the studio, but it was the studio owner, so
Some piece tea that turned out to be.
so it's okay.
I think I did a show last weekend, and it reminded me of one of the funnier things, road stories for me. I was doing a show a few years ago with Lori Ferguson Ford,
Yeah.
and who is nice. And
She is.
We were in Invermere.
Yeah. Oh, it was just in Invermere. Well, next to it.
Oh yeah, you were
I
in
drove into
radio.
Invermere. I forget A&W.
So we're doing a fundraiser, and it's like you know it's a yuck show, so it's like do whatever the fuck you want, you know.
Yeah.
And then, but then we see the poster, and it's like clean comedy tonight.
Oh
Yuck
my
yucks, clean.
God.
Like they wrote clean probably 14 times on this poster.
Maybe that person had OCD.
Yeah, and I was like,
Clean.
I think they might want it clean. So then.
I think they might be asking for clean comedy.
So then we're at the venue, and the lady who's organizing it comes up to us, and she's maybe like in her mid-40s with like a cross around her neck and like a nice blouse and dressed up like a lovely Christian woman.
Do you remember her
and-
name?
I have no idea. But then, so I've never asked this question before, and I'll never probably ask it again. But I was like, hey, it says clean show. What are you thinking for clean? And she's like, oh, I don't know, like just nothing over the top. So then I'm like, can you give me an example of something that you might consider to be like over the top? And she's like, oh, I guess like fuck my wet pussy. And I was like, what the fuck?
Was it hilarious coming from her mouth?
Oh, it was just crazy to hear. I thought she was going to say like rinky dinky poo poo or like
Rinky dink.
Don't
if
talk
anyone
about-
says rinky dinky, people will
don't
lose their
don't talk about
minds.
girls' bum bums. Like that's what I thought she was going to say. I thought she was going to say bum bum or poo poo. I had no idea that she was going to say fuck my wet
My
pussy.
wet pussy.
And it was so obvious that she'd said it 1,000 times.
Oh
Like
my
that is her
God.
bedroom go-to. That is her Christian kids are asleep and Randy's fucking her wet pussy. And then it made me think like that's the line. The fuck my wet pussy is over the line. Is a dry pussy closer?
What if you said fuck
is
my
it
dry pussy?
is a dry pussy dirtier or is it wet
Oh,
pussy?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Because
don't
a
know if
wet
I find
pussy
that dirtier or
is
cleaner.
moist,
healthy.
moist genitals. It's kind of gross, right?
Kind of gross. Yeah.
But then there's also dry pussy that you know.
That's gross
I don't
too.
know. Yeah, that's weird.
That's painful.
That it hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's dirtier, wet or dry? I didn't ask that follow up.
Oh,
I just
you should
I
have.
remember.
I wish you should have had a little debate with the church
I think I
lady.
just stood there. I must have stood there for like I don't know, fucking 5 minutes.
So
not
did you
saying.
do a clean set?
Oh, we basically just didn't say fuck or something like
Yeah.
that. You
Did
know,
you
or
talk
wet
about
pussies.
wet pussies?
No wet pussy. But it was just like she was thinking of something. Like she took a little time with it.
Yeah.
You know, like oh, I don't know what would be over the line. Let me fuck my wet pussy. And I was just like, wow. That is mind-boggling. And Lori was just like, okay, like you know, Lori just absorbed
won't
it,
say
like,
fuck my wet
okay, I
pussy.
won't say fuck my wet pussy.
Make love to my lubricated vagina.
Yeah,
That's
Now
the clean
that is
version.
classy.
That is
that
classy.
is corporate naughty.
Corporate corporate naughty.
I love when people
Oh
say
my
that. Like,
god, I want to do an album
I'm
called
corporate naughty, and I'll be corporate nice.
That would be such a good tour. I think people would book it.
I don't think they would. I think they might stay away from it. Like I was at the Calgary Yucks this weekend, and I had download cards.
Did
And
you sell them?
No, I just could not bring myself.
Why do you
Couldn't
have
physically.
these download cards then?
They sent them to me.
Well, sell them, Sean.
I would love to.
I sold
I'm physically.
5.
I'm fucking physically incapable of doing that.
Oh, I know.
Like I was
it's
standing there with
extremely
the
painful.
download cards on the stool
Yeah.
during the show.
Yeah.
And the show would go fine, and then it would be the time to say, "Hey guys, I got these fucking download cards, blah blah blah." And the middle was some guy from Toronto that was selling fucking buttons that said "shit happens" or something. You know what I mean? Like
Shit happens.
just I love it when people's merch is like a phrase that's already in the world.
Okay, in my defense, mine was funny. I did send nudes, which was already in the world.
See, that's
It
disgusting.
was pretty shitty of me,
Makes
but
me-
I made money.
But there's nothing wrong with it because like Damon Schroeder used to sell hockey card shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They were
I
like
have one of those
OPG
still, I
premieres.
think.
Like those were cool.
yeah,
And those were like Tim Coslow sells fucking Frank Zappa
Yeah.
merchandise.
paintings. No, I totally. But that's like this is the Canadian in you, because you go and down to the States and there are like amateurs that have a whole clothing line of one phrase
Well,
that they said once,
mean-
or someone else's phrase like "say what."
Yeah, like who dat?
Yeah.
Yeah. New shirt, who dis?
You should do that one. New shirt, who dis? You should do that one. Sean, we gotta make you some extra money. It's so easy.
It really is.
The thing with the download cards is, yeah, it's really fucking painful to stand there while
Oh,
people
it's
like avoid
disgusting.
your eye
Makes me
contact.
sick.
But you could still sell some and make some money. So fuck
I
it. Who
know.
cares?
No, and there was like I'm saying like there was already a middle selling fucking trinkets.
yeah.
So it
But
would
it's
have been
your
easy for me to
album.
stand there or
But
whatever.
it's your album. Like, it's not a button.
yeah,
It's
like-
like if somebody really liked your comedy show, they'll be like, yeah, I want to keep it. And then they remember your name, Sean. So you have to do some of this
God,
stuff.
I just
It's part
cannot.
of your job. This is your job.
I
There is
know.
parts of every job that people don't want to do. I hate mopping. And I
Yeah.
have to mop the fucking restaurant every morning. And
It
I
does
hate
suck.
doing it, but I still have to do it because it's part of my job. So I enjoy other parts of the job way more, which is just like stand up. Like I love being on stage. I tell you, I like hanging out after. I hate selling stuff, but that's like the one thing that you have to do that you hate and just get it
Oh.
over with. And honestly, no one's gonna be like, "Fuck this fucking idiot trying to sell shit." Like none of those people
Yeah,
are like
no.
that.
Well, I mean, I've seen American headliners at the comic strip eat a nutsack for 43
And still
minutes.
sell stuff.
And I'm like, man, like they're gonna walk off and go right back to their room and have a good
Yes.
cry, and then they go, if you're interested in, blah, blah, and then I'm like, are you doing a merch pitch at the
Yeah.
end of a near boo off?
Yeah.
You're almost getting booed off.
And they still sell stuff
And
though.
they're still like, hey, follow me on Instagram, and I'm
Yeah.
like, they will fucking follow you to kill you on Instagram.
It's true though, but that's just my best
I
analogy.
just can't. I
to,
just
put
can't do it. Just
I
cannot.
know,
do it.
but you-
It's so hard to
it.
do.
It's like you have
Because you do it right,
all
like
these
you stand
$20
there.
bills.
It's easier for you though, because
No, it's
nobody's gonna come up
not.
to you and be like, you know what, you were sick and you made my stomach turn.
People have said that to me before.
Really?
I've had like women say gross and awful things to me. They're like, this one woman was like, "You're disgusting," and not in a funny way. And I was just like, okay, like it's happened before, but I just like I'm at this like place in my life where I don't even fucking care what anybody thinks most of the time. I mean, I
Yeah.
still have some issues, but like at this point, I'm like, if you didn't like my comedy show, I feel sad for you. You can't laugh at stuff. Like I can't. If you don't think that I'm
Yeah.
funny and talented, I feel bad for you that you came out to enjoy yourself and you left angry. Like you can't even go out and enjoy yourself. Like those are the people you just have to be like, just fuck those people. But there are people that want to buy your album, Sean, and it's like it's like money sitting at home doing nothing. Like I
And I-
sold 5 of my cards and pins, and that's an extra $100, and that paid for my gas for the trip. So I'm making money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I don't want to lecture you, but I do need.
I had
to.
like a terrible like the worst customer service experience of my life, because I thought my stuff was on Sound Exchange already,
Yeah.
like my new album or whatever. I just I just assumed that.
Yeah.
And people told me like, oh, your name is.
Yours
a
is getting
common
played
name.
so much, by the way.
I didn't even know that.
I'll look it up
But
right
like I looked at, so I look at my account on Sound Exchange, And I'm like, oh, none of it's uploaded. None of it's here. None of these tracks are here. None of the tracks from my album.
Yeah.
So I call Sound Exchange, and it's one of those customer service experiences where she doesn't want to talk to me, and she's not in front of a computer, so she doesn't have my file up or anything. She's not looking at a computer screen that has all my information.
She's out having
She's
brunch,
she's on a phone, and she realizes like, oh fuck, this is a goddamn fucking idiot.
Look at that's last week or this week, and this week just started. I looked at it. I was like, holy shit!
Is that a lot?
Yes.
How many do you usually
That's like
get?
triple what they play me.
Wow.
I'll show you mine. It's embarrassing. Look, I was like, what is he? He gets played all the time.
I wasn't I didn't say
No, I know
anything.
you
about it.
weren't
I wasn't even
You
looking.
just thought that they weren't going to play any of it, and they're playing
Right.
it all the time. Because as much as everybody has made an album to get on to Sirius Radio, not every album is funny. Like, just because you make an album doesn't mean, yeah, I'm going to be on the radio. That was my whole problem with the whole people with the Just Ross Radio is like, well, yeah, like if you're being played, it's because you're good at what you do and you deserve to be compensated. But then there's all these people that are like, I submitted my album, I'm a year in, and they never even played it. And it's like,
Oh, people were saying that?
yes, like people were, it's only for some people. Some people get more than others. I'm like, yeah, because some people are funnier than others. What do you want me to fucking tell you? Like, I cannot stand, it's a
Well, but it's always like a subjective mind fuck where they're like, all you have to do is look and see one name of somebody with one shitty joke, and then go, oh, sure, they'll play that fucking guy's joke about
Yeah.
shopping carts,
Yeah.
but they won't play my stuff about tearing down the patriarchal. That's like a patriarchy, but they're like criminals. It's like a patriarchy gang called the Patriarcho. They're Mexican drug lords.
Yeah, look
that
at me
hate-
last week. They played me once last week.
Fair.
So, whatever. But no, get
So whatever.
your stuff out. I don't want to talk about this right now.
All right, fine.
No,
I was just
but-
saying, like, so I'll make it brief, but there was like, so I'm talking to her, explaining like, hi, you know, I'm trying to upload these tracks, you know, and I'm dumb, so I'm like, what is this? You know, how do I get to? And she just wouldn't talk. She was just like, and that's a problem. Yeah, that should be in the frequently asked questions portion of the.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, maybe it is, but
I'm calling you because I need help.
Yeah. So and
Imagine that woman on the suicide hotline.
and I'm like, could you just? I'm like, is there any way you could just kind of look at my account? Like, you know, I've given you my ID number and all that. Could you just look at my account and see if the tracks are there? Because when I look at it in one page, it's all there, but
Yeah.
when I look at it on another page, none of it's there.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I don't have that in front of me.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, okay, all right.
Did you ask to talk to somebody else?
No, like she maybe said it was like the most. She said 5 or 6 words, like that would be in the frequently asked questions,
Oh my.
and then another pause, and then me telling another story about. So it was, you know
That
how
means somebody is getting paid to refer people to the frequently asked questions on their website. Somebody's getting paid to do this, and
Yeah.
they're getting away with it.
well, and they like the crazy like I was trying to like and you know how when you're asking somebody a question, they'll say like like they'll kind of as you're asking a long form question, they'll be like okay
Yeah.
like they'll kind of interject a little bit to let you know that they're still listening to what the fuck you're saying.
Yeah.
But I'm asking like longer questions and she's not making a sound.
Yeah.
So I'm like halfway through, I'm like, hello? And she's like, yeah.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, okay, so anyway, and then I keep going, and then at the end I'm like, hello? And she's like, yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm like, what the fuck kind of conversation is this? And then I called back. I had to call back the next day, and I'm like, please be somebody
Yeah.
else.
It was.
I have a different question, and I can't find it on the fucking website. And it was the same lady.
I
and-
guarantee you Sound Exchange's call center is a woman that has a cell phone and takes it with her everywhere. She's like, fuck, I gotta answer
Yeah.
Sound Exchange.
Yeah.
Go to the frequently asked questions. That's
sure.
where all the if you had a question, why wouldn't you go where they're frequently asked?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
duh.
asking you.
I mean, if you don't find it on frequently asked, because nobody asks it, because it's fucking easy to figure out,
Yeah.
you coward.
Yeah, you fucking idiot.
It's either on the frequently asked questions or you're an idiot for not knowing it already.
You can't
I'm
find
trying to
it.
watch The Joker in theaters with my son. Fuck you, Pop.
That's That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
That's the
it's
vibe I
one
got.
fucking
Yeah.
person with a cell phone. It's not a call center of people waiting to give you great customer service. It's one person. I don't think they're a big operation.
And then I called the IRS and they were like, "Hello, my name is Lashana. My badge number." I was like, "Oh my god, I love this."
Was she very helpful?
She was very nice.
Some Americans are extremely polite. Like when I worked for the Neiman Marcus call center, we would like have to.
Their call's being recorded.
All
The
of their
sound
calls are
exchange call that ain't
No,
recorded
because it's a
Like,
person with a cell phone
Yeah.
that does all the customer service
Yeah.
phone calls. But yeah, I remember doing call center stuff, and like sometimes we have to talk to the agents in Dallas, and they were like the sweetest sugar pie, honey,
I know,
and they were
yeah, they're
so
little.
cute, and I loved them so much. But then you talk to some evil Americans, and you're like, no, you exist.
Yeah.
Some of you are horrible.
No, this lady was. I just loved it because it was like, "Hi, I'm an IRS agent, and my name is Lashina." There was like a weird like Lashina or something. And my badge number is. You can skip the badge number. I will not be putting that into a fucking file of any. And my badge number is 10. I'm like, you can skip it.
You know why? Because every American that gets angry is like, "What's your badge number? What's your
Tell me your
employee number?
fucking
I'm gonna
badge
get
number.
you in so much
I'm gonna
trouble."
call somebody else that you have lunch with. That's what people don't is like. You think you know
We
these
all
guys
work
are in the same
together.
fucking office,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
like
yeah,
so. I mean, it's
I
not
can
like.
sometimes hear someone else's conversation. Like
Let me speak to your manager, and it's like I'm. We had.
I can tell you.
We go to Ricky's 3 times a week. It's not like I'm gonna give you to somebody else, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, don't listen to that
Here.
underling of mine."
I can tell you. No. So when I worked at Neiman Marcus call center, I worked in the I ended up getting promoted to the ops desk, which meant like I was that person when they said, "Can I talk to your manager?"
you were the
so there was
manager.
a whole team of us. So we weren't really managers, but like I guess we had like a
Did you get
little
paid
bit
more?
more power. Yeah, I got paid like $1 more.
There. Capitalism.
You know, but so I remember like it would always be like the second someone asks to speak to a manager, when a call is escalated, you call immediately. So it would always be go like this. When they put you on hold when you ask to speak to a manager, they go to the other person, "Okay, I got this awful person on the phone. Here's their order number. This is what they're trying to do. They keep calling me a bitch." And then we would joke about it a little bit and then, put comments on their files and stuff. And then 5 minutes later, I pick up the phone. I'm like, "Yes, I'm the manager. How can I help you?" And it'd be like someone else freaking out over free shipping. And if I was bored, I'd be like, I would make it difficult. But usually I'd just be like,
man.
"Oh, I'll just take off the $10. Thank you." And they're like, oh, okay. But I guess that does encourage people to just talk to the manager. But
Yeah.
I fought sometimes too. Like if you get a totally dick ass person, I fought what they wanted
That
hard.
reminds me of when I worked at McDonald's. The headsets. So there'd be like
Yeah.
manager, assistant manager. They'd all have their Garth Brooks on, right? And in your pack there was 2 buttons. One button
Mute?
was. No, one button
Oh.
is now you're talking to everybody that has a headset on plus the person that's in the drive-thru.
Oh my God.
The other button is you're just talking to the people in the drive-thru and not the person who's at the drive-thru.
Oh my God.
So somebody'd come to the drive-thru and you'd press the drive-thru button like, "Hello, welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order, please?" And then they would say something like, "Oh," and then you would press the other button and go, "Oh," just do an impression of that person who's talking in the drive-thru. "Oh, I'll get a fucking 3 Big Macs and a fucking," and then you'd press the other button and go, "That'll be $13.12, thank you, sir." And then the next person would come.
We had this thing.
"I'm gonna get how much MSG is in a fillet of fish?" And then I'd press the other button. Fucking go somewhere else, you fat cunt. And then press the other button. I'm not sure, sir. We'll give you the brochure when you get to the window. Thank you very much. That'll be $4.87. Would you like a full piece of cheese or a half a cheese?
That's totally because
Oh, it
we
was great.
had mute buttons on our phone, so you'd be talking, and then they would be then they would go on their minute rant about how angry they were, so you'd put it on mute, and you'd be like, "Oh, fucking really? Okay, all right. I can see where you live. I can find you. I know." We used to Google map people's when you know who I am and how important I am, and we'd look, and they would have spent like $10,000 with us that year, which is nothing for a good Neiman Marcus customer. They would spend in the hundreds of thousands, and then they'd
Yeah.
be freaking out, and they'd be like, "I am such an important person," and then you would Google, because Google Earth was new, so you could see people's houses. So we'd Google their house, and we'd be like, "Yeah, you're real special, living there in that bungalow on Mockingbird Lane. Yeah, you must be the
What?
queen."
Where are you?
Yeah, so but yeah, we put them on mute all the time.
Oh yeah, that was my other 9/11 joke. It was a more obscure reference, but it was about the field in Pennsylvania where the fourth plane came down.
I don't remember this.
So there was like, there was the 3 planes that hit their targets. Fun. And then there was the fourth plane that went down in a field near an acreage in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And I was like, imagine that fucking scene for the people living in the acreage seeing that plane, like where they're watching this horror unfold on the television. Like, what the fuck? What are they going to hit next? And then they look out their window and they're like, Ricky, you've been fucking around on the internet again. Because they thought they were going to get hit next on a fucking acreage in Pennsylvania. Go after Ricky.
Ricky shouldn't be.
He's been writing weird code on Al Jazeera. So that that one never got a laugh. The deep knee bend also never got a laugh.
I thought it was always funny. I don't know what. I thought it was a very funny joke.
People just come out to have fun, right? They're not coming out to be. And that was like, you could only really. 9/11 was there was a weird window of like, it wasn't funny at all for probably 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, I think most people were like, no, that was really horrific. But then I remember people would say, well, one day we'll laugh about it. We sure do now. Pete Davidson makes
people
jokes
thought like,
about it.
oh
His
my
father
God,
was
like,
killed in it.
people are like, oh my God, this is new normal. Post 9/11, new normal. Everything's different now. And it really went right back to exactly as petty and childish and stupid as we always were.
It takes you said this before on the podcast. It'll take like a meteorite for us all to get along.
That's what'll
again.
get along. It'll be like, a trans person trying to help a guy,
a total redneck.
It'll be a trans person wrapping up a dead kid in a Confederate flag or something. You know what I mean? Like,
we're all one. We're together. Everything's. Yeah. No, I don't know. Like, and I always wonder what it would have been like if there was the internet the way it is. Like, because like they didn't have cell phones to tweet. What the fuck is happening to the tower? Like they didn't. Do you think that more people would have gotten out if they had like known what was going on? Like, so
or
someone
if there would have
tweets,
been more
"Hey,
panic.
why is there so much smoke?" Because a plane hit it. Get the fuck out.
Huh?
Right?
Yeah.
Like, and all the people that were leaving messages for their loved ones and stuff, they were like, it was just a phone. Nobody had like. They might have had those big brick cell phones.
I mean, it was still like I watch a lot of documentaries, and to me, the best documentary ever made was that one that the French filmmakers made about 9/11.
Yeah, I saw it.
Because they were there on that day, and they were filming firefighters.
Yeah.
So they're just randomly filming firefighters because they're making some shitty French state TV documentary about New York firefighters. What it's like for a greenhorn and the. So it was just like brand new firefighters that were going down a little drainage thing and like, I've did a gas detection. And then all of a sudden, so they were the only people that had footage of the first plane going in because it went in super low.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then they were in a fire truck in the building. Yeah. And then the whole documentary is just them. And there was people that were coming out of there was in the tower they were in, there was an elevator that was stuck.
Yeah.
On the main floor. And it took like 45 minutes for them to get the doors open.
Yeah.
And then like 5 people come out and they're ready to fucking freak out and be like, who fucked up this elevator? And then they kind of walk out in rage that they couldn't get out of the elevator. And then they kind of look around and everybody's
panicking.
And they're like, I guess something crazy's happening today.
Yeah. I think it would have been really weird. Like people have taken like selfies. I'm in the towers. What's happening?
Oh my God.
Like, you know what? Like people's last their last words. You could say that's the crazy thing about Twitter. You can say your last words.
Yeah. And that's why everything seems so much worse now.
Yeah.
Because tragedies are amplified. Like in 9/11, it was sort of like we had a few photographs of the jumpers coming out. We had a few phone calls from people that were calling their wife to say goodbye.
Yeah.
But if something like that happened now, it would be like the worst thing that ever happened.
It would make it so much worse because
we would have
be
thousands.
way more real.
We'd have thousands of videos of those planes
people
going in.
crying goodbye. Oh my God!
We'd have thousands of videos of jumpers. We'd have thousands of videos of people saying their last goodbyes or whatever.
Oh my God!
You might even have a jumper selfie.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Bye.
Bye. You know what I mean?
Just do it on a boomerang. We still have to laugh at stuff. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's my 20-year high school reunion on Saturday.
Oh.
20. I didn't go to the 10 one because I was moving.
Pussy don't age like wine. Pussy age like bread.
Hey, that was my part about the Dave Chappelle special. I loved it because everyone was so angry about what they said about them and their friends and stuff. And then he does that joke with R. Kelly where R. Kelly was like, oh, this 14-year-old pussy, I love 14-year-old. Like he said it like 8 or 20 times on a video to incriminate himself. He's like,
that's fun.
And I can't remember how he gets to it, but he says something about like, no one's saying, oh, that's some great 36-year-old pussy. He's like, because it doesn't exist.
Oh,
and I mean, that's when I should have been like, how dare Dave Chappelle? I'm a 38-year-old woman and my pussy's great. But I died laughing. It was so fucking funny. That special was good. I don't care what people say. It wasn't his best special, but oh my God, people got so upset for no reason. And I think that's the problem is nobody can laugh at themselves anymore. And that's so fucked up. You can't, he said, I don't even think of anything that he said was evil. You know, like he did use the F word to describe people, which is a lot of people do not like that. But it was an interesting perspective. I want to see a different. I want to see what a man's perspective is on a 38-year-old woman. It's going to not be great.
Like I really like I said it on a previous podcast, I think, where I'm like the far left is not used to having people that can't bring down. So that's the amplification of this special being what it is.
Yeah.
Is that it's they've hit a brick wall here.
Yeah.
Like they haven't, usually they're able to attack somebody, attack the material, attack the performer, and then the performer is forced to apologize and they get to kind of like internet high five each other and move on.
Yeah.
But this was the first time that I can recall where the comedian was kind of too rich, too powerful, didn't give a fuck what they thought and said whatever they wanted and doubled down on it the following special.
Yeah.
So took heat one special and then said, fuck you, I don't care, the next one.
Yeah.
So
and he blamed crowds for not having a sense of humor, and I loved that bit. Did you watch it?
No.
Oh, so yeah, he says like some sort of. I'm not good at retelling jokes or anything, so they're probably butchering it. But he says something about like how, he's like, who are these monsters that won't let us have fun anymore? And he goes, it's you guys. It's the audience. We're not allowed to make any comments that could be made. Nobody will say stuff anymore because they're terrified to be brought down by one side or the other. And like the far left, fucking loves censorship. They say they don't love it, but they love censorship when it benefits their message.
Yeah.
They want to shut someone up. You cannot talk about that stuff. It's like, if you tell people they can't talk about stuff, then everything is not going to be okay. Like it'll.
Yeah. Well, and they pretend to, like, I mean, I've said it on stage before, like the kind of that far left, like they like to pretend like victimless comedy. That's what, like, why can't you tell jokes that don't have a victim? Don't punch down. Don't have any victims in your joke. Just have fun.
Yeah.
But if you go on stage in front of a far left audience and make fun of conservatives and babies and old people, they fucking love it.
Abortion or anything.
So if you make fun of a pro-life person, if you make fun of a conservative, if you make fun of a baby, like if you kill it, you can kill if you tried to kill a 13-year-old girl, in a joke, you'd be booed off stage.
If you kill a baby,
if you tried to kill a baby
you're a hero.
In a joke, then it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't have had that baby because babies are killing the environment.
Yeah, it is really like the left.
So
is
you just
very
have to
hypocritical sometimes.
So they think that like no, we like victimless comedy. Like no, you just like different victims.
Yeah.
And I say the same thing to like conservative crowds where
That's
they're
so
like,
true.
These fucking, liberal motherfuckers, blah blah blah. Like you can't make fun of anything anymore. You can't fucking make fun of anything. And I'm like you're the same as they are. Like if I went on stage tonight and started making fun of like how ludicrous the concept of Christ as our God is,
you'd be like,
you'd be fucking livid. And they're like, well, I would be, because Christ is our Lord.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that belief that you have, that faith that you have, is what they have for their beliefs.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same sort of fervent kind of like frothing at the mouth. Like that's too far.
Maybe they need to realize they're more alike than they know.
Yes.
Maybe that'll save the world.
So a lot of conservatives will sit there and be like, look at the fucking left. You can't make fun of anything anymore because these fucking babies are triggered.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you have triggers too, Alan.
Yeah, you have a lot of triggers, Alan.
You got triggers too.
Christ is one of your triggers.
Christ is a trigger, a small dick joke. There's a lot of things that are going to make you. That's just not funny. Something about climate change being real. any material about climate change actually happening is
It's
going to
so
make a
fun to
small town conservative crowd go, now this is
Yeah.
fucking dumb.
This is bullshit. Yeah. No.
So they all have their triggers.
That's
and they
why
all.
comedy is like in so much pain right now. It's just that like you can't be in the middle. You can't be understanding of both sides in some ways. You have to pick a side right now, and it's like, well, no, I believe some of these things, and I believe some of these. I'm more this way, but like there's sometimes they make a point. And it's like if more people would just be like, okay, I'm going to listen to what you have to say and process it, and then I'll make a decision. But it's just like you listen to what someone else has to say, and you make your own judgment based on this person's biased opinion of what that person said. So it's like so
And now we just use it as a way to disqualify every,
Yeah.
oh, look at that. So if you go online, like, somebody will share something, and then anybody who's opposed to it will be like, oh, yeah, sure, you get it from the Washington Examiner.
Yeah.
The fucking
Yeah,
piece of-
exactly.
So, I mean, we don't even read anything that we're sharing. Like,
Yeah.
if you're on the far left and you
No.
share an article, anybody on the right's going to be like, oh, sure, you fucking blah, blah, blah. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I hate it when people, like, they talk about climate change, and then conservatives will say, well, look at the profit motive of these scientists. And it's like, okay, 97% of the scientific community is in agreement that climate change is something that man is impacting,
Yeah.
and that we can act to change it, or we can act to destroy the planet. We can do one or the other. 3% of the scientists say that's not happening.
Yeah.
You're telling me there's more money in being with the 97% that represent the interests of a bunch of fucking broke people in Beirut
Yeah.
over the 3% who represent the interests of conservatives and the oil and gas industry.
Yeah.
You're telling me that there's more fucking money in that 97% science chunk than the 3 that are running around doing conference rooms for $10,000 talking about how climate change isn't real.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, the 3% of doctors that or scientists that are saying it's not real, they make a fucking bomb.
Yeah.
They make a bomb every year because they just go from conference room to conference room saying, here's a graph. I made a couple graphs that I'd love you to look at. Look at where it spikes.
Look at this pie chart.
1802. You're fucking telling me. And good night, everybody. Bye. Like, kind of just had the graphs. See ya.
And the graph changed my mind that night.
Wow. I just saw that spike from 1802, and
He's
I thought,
right. He's
he
right.
is right.
He spiked it, and
The
he's
oil and
right.
gas industry is right.
They are
And
right.
even conservatives that talk, like, if you don't support the oil and gas industry, you're a fucking piece of shit. Like,
Yeah.
you got your fucking phone and you got your fucking...
Yeah.
And it's like, I guarantee you, if extracting oil from the ground and running it around the country to make all of our products and run our cars, if that paid like what McDonald's paid, everybody would be like,
Yeah,
let's
no
let's
one
find
would
an
say
alternative.
anything. Yeah.
Let's find an alternative.
No.
But because it pays fucking
6
great,
figures a year to do
people are
basic
like,
stuff.
get
yeah.
in line and support the oil and gas industry.
Yeah.
But if welders who worked in the oil patch made fucking $12.50
Yeah,
or something,
no one would be
people would
freaking
be
out.
like,
Yeah, maybe we
the
should
oil
find
sands.
something
The oil
different.
sands look pretty gross.
Yeah.
So it's all money. So
Oh,
it's
it is
all
money.
your personal gain. Is
Yeah, I
what
don't think
keeps
anybody
you.
on the argument they're just like I like I don't yeah, fuck the plan. No, it's like no, I would like to rent that houseboat again next summer. So let's kind of beef it up a bit on the
Yeah,
oil
and the
piece.
I mean, and the hypocrisy on the left is what is basically the only thing the right ever points out,
Yeah.
which is like, oh, you're out there in your fucking kayak and
Yeah.
you got your fucking phone in your hand and you're in a kayak and yeah that's oil. And it's like, okay, Randy, thanks for popping that meme up again. You got anything else? Nope, that's kind of it. I'm not going to sit here because they really don't sit back and say like, isn't it pretty when the sky's filled with smog? Like they
No,
don't
they-
talk about like, look at the aurora huminalis.
Nobody
This
on this
fucking-
planet is just like, yeah, it doesn't seem to be getting hotter. Like serious, nobody is just like cannot see it. Like everybody that denies it, they can still see, but they're just like,
Oh, yeah.
no, it's
No,
not
it's-
that bad. But
Yeah,
like,
but if you took profit motive out
would
of it,
change, yeah.
and they would be like, yeah, if they were like, you know what, we need you to go fix that oil well, that drill site,
Yeah.
we'll give you $280.
Yeah.
People would be like, you know what, nah.
there's a lot of
Oil's
money
gross.
in oil. Like even like as something called a hot shot. My cousin did it a couple of times, and like
Whoa.
I was even offered it. Hot shot, hot shot. No.
Hot shotting,
Hot
so you could
shotting.
hot shot things.
I can hot shot things. But it's like they give you $800 to drive up to like the border of Northwest Territories in Alberta and drop off a part for something. So it's like you're a courier, and you can make like $800 a day doing that.
I mean, the oil and gas industry has essentially bought us off, right?
Yeah.
They bought us off.
Absolutely. Like if people that work in it can't see that, like, yeah, you're being rewarded to keep it going.
Yeah, if it paid the same to be in the oil and gas industry as it did to work, as a sales rep at Go Auto or something, like then you'd be like, everybody would be like, fuck oil.
Yeah.
Like, it's gross. It's dirty. Gets my hands dirty. Makes the planet seem
It
gross.
smells bad.
I guess we kind of need it, but is there anything else?
Yeah, let's figure something else out. I don't know.
Oh well.
Oh well.
So what were you gonna? You had some. You have ideas written down.
Yeah, I wrote some down just in case we forgot stuff. But I said it's my 20th high school reunion.
Oh my! Yeah, that's right. So are you going?
Well, I'm gonna go later.
Whoa, late arrival.
Yeah, I don't want to be
okay. I think
Well, and I can't, and I don't have anyone to go with me because Adam's working. So I'm like, oh, good. Yeah, I'm gonna show up by myself. Hooray.
Yeah, and then I do have a boyfriend. He's just working.
I'm thinner.
What
than
does
I
he
was
do?
in
What
high
does he
school,
do?
and that's all that matters.
Lawyer.
He's a late night lawyer.
He's a late night lawyer. You ever seen Night Court?
But the worst part about reunions now is you can't lie about anything because it's all out there already on Facebook, and like I can't go in and be like, well, I've got 2 kids, they're great.
Yeah, they're beautiful. One is ADHD. We get fully medicated.
Yeah, like you can't lie about stuff anymore, so that's good. And I am thinner than I was in high school, and that's really all that matters.
That's really all that matters.
That's really all that matters.
Yeah. So like, you look so good. Like, thank you.
Thank you. Oh my God.
And then don't return it.
No, you don't return it by going like this. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then this is what you should do all night. Just walk up to people, hi, and then they'll be like, oh my God, you look so great. And then you just go, thanks. And then you look them down and up and then walk away.
I'm going to do that to at least one person. That'd be hilarious.
Is there a couple of bitches that you want to smack on the puss?
I can't think of any people that I'd be just furious to see. Like, I had more evil people in junior high to me. Like some guys that were mean. Like I had to do a comedy. Did I ever tell you this story?
No.
I had to do a comedy story show. I get like this gig. This woman's like, I want to have a comic come to my husband's birthday. And I had opened for someone at the comic strip. And she's like, we really want someone dirty. And he was going to be there. So he kind of referred me. And so she booked it and everything. And I didn't she was going to pay me good money. And it was in a mansion in the West End. So I'm like, okay, this will be fun and interesting or awful. And then I get there and her last name, I'm not going to say their names, but then she says her husband's name. And it is a very it's not like Derek. It's like a very original, weird name.
Cuntler.
Yeah, Cuntler. She goes, oh, it's Cuntler. He'll be here soon. And I was just like, Cuntler so-and-so? And she's like, yeah, that's my husband. I was like, great. And this guy was so mean to me in junior. Just like he would he and this group of dudes would make me call me fat and make me cry every day.
Oh, they're going to say come.
No, never. They would. Okay. Those guys could never make me come. Anyway, but so it was him, and thank God I had a friend. I brought a friend with me because I was like, oh my God, this is.
Oh, that's
and
awful.
So then he doesn't realize though that I'm the special guest. So then,
and it's his birthday.
So then they bring me out to the living room and they're like, here's your comedian Kathleen McGee, and you can see his face just go like.
Oh,
because he's an adult now, and you realize, no, I was an asshole.
Did he apologize?
He didn't apologize, but he was very nice to me after the show, and he gave me some drugs and stuff, so that's nice.
That's quite nice.
But he was a rich kid. Like his parents had a very big business, and now he is a rich adult because of parents.
Yeah.
And it's just I was just like, oh, this is so.
That's what I always think is funny when people are like, when that rich kid grows up, he's going to learn some fucking lessons about what life is. And I'm like, his parents will never allow him to to learn those lessons.
There's a Baroness von sketch that's really good where they're doing a TED Talks with some innovators, 40 and under. And it's all these people that are like, well, tell us the secret to your success. Well, so I had this idea for this business and I just really wanted to do it. So my parents gave me $5 million and it just clicked. It just happened. And it's they go through 3 people and they're all just well, my parents are rich. And it's just it's so funny because I know comics that are still in comedy because their parents are rich, not because
Well, it's
they're
like
good at
no
it.
disrespect to Canadian comedians that move to LA, because I mean, a lot of them do deserve
Yeah.
respect and credit.
But
but
it's expensive
what-
to do
but-
that.
But when I was in LA with somebody, like I was there for like a cup of coffee for like literally a week or something.
Yeah.
And
You went for a cup of coffee for a week?
yeah, it was good coffee.
Okay.
And then somebody that was there was like, "Man, you got to give these Canadian comedians credit coming down here and grinding it out." And I'm like, I would honestly have to know how much money their parents have before I would give them any of that credit.
Yeah.
If their parents are as broke as my parents are, then I give them a ton of credit for
Yeah.
uprooting their lives and, you know, moving to somewhere and not the kind of
It's
the
not
great.
cheap. You can't do it alone. I don't care what
No.
anybody says, especially on a comedian salary. Like, there's no way that you can. I tried it, and it's not. And I
Yeah,
had
it's-
so much help from my parents and some
Comedian
other
salary
people.
is so bad that it's not a salary.
There's no way you can be down in LA, even with your green card or whatever, and be like surviving. Like,
Oh,
I remember when I went there, I was like, "Oh, rent is going to be $1,800 a month," and I was just like, "Oh God, oh my God!" So I
I'm
can
gonna-
last for 3 months here.
I
And that's
just
my life savings.
hi. We need your green card. Like I ate it with Cheese Whiz. I'm sorry. I had to eat my green card. I was so hungry.
Yeah, there's no way that you can't do that without help. And I like
A little bit.
I
Yeah.
know a lot of comedians that went down to LA, and I think that they do have some help back home. Like, I mean,
I'm not
lucky
talking
for
about
them.
like your dad gives you a little bit here, and I'm talking about like
pays your rent. And
yeah,
like,
you're loaded
Yeah.
in LA.
Yeah.
You know, like I wouldn't give them credit.
Yeah.
But people that are still like, oh my God, yeah, my mom and dad helped me out a little bit, but I'm still fucking grinding hard.
My parents have saved my hide a few times, but like they could never like make it easy street.
They
for
couldn't make it
Kathleen.
rain.
No, they couldn't make it rain. But like
No.
my mom co-signed on a car for me because I don't have a credit history that is good enough. That's
Aw.
another thing for bad credit rating. But no, like my mom has helped me. I've been bailed out a few times by my family, but not to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm never gonna get bad again. Like it's just always like, no, I'm
Yeah.
always gonna need help.
Oh, it's a repeating cycle of financial pain.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, because I got today. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really, I try not to think about money too much. But then today, like one of my kids needs braces.
Yeah.
76.
Oh,
It's
no.
$7,600.
But what about that place where you just go in and they give you those clips and it's only $200?
Where's that?
What are those? They're everywhere now. Invisalign. They're like, here, come and get. It's like it ends up being like $1,200, but you only pay like $100, and they pop it in
What
and
do you mean?
fix it.
What do you just go there and they just give it to you?
Yeah, it's like box stores now. You can go in and like, or they send you a mold maybe online and you.
Are you serious? So you can go to like Invisalign.com and
I
cut
think
out
so.
cut out the orthodontist
don't go,
entirely.
Look around. Don't go straight to an orthodontist. This is what the orthodontists don't want you to know about.
Oh, really?
But maybe it doesn't
So
work
do
for
you
kids.
know this, or are
I've
you just
seen
like?
ads for it. Like I've talked to people who have considered doing it. I'm gonna be like online braces, teeth straightening, turf straightening.
Turth. Get my turf straight. No, so anyway, it was like $7,600,
Oh my
which is fine.
That is not fine.
And then I call it Blue Cross because, I have their fucking Plan B coverage or something.
SmileDirectClub.ca. That's what I always hear ads for. A straightener smile for $110 a month.
Yeah.
Make a good impression. Get aligned. Smiles are forever. Book a scan. Order a kit. So, like, I guess you can do it. Check it. See if kids can do it.
And we'll check it out.
Look
But
in the FAQ section, though. Don't ask. Don't call
don't
them.
ask.
'Cause-
Some not frequently asked question, you fucking moron. No, so yeah, I mean, so I call up Blue Cross and I'm like, hi, I'm just wondering about my coverage. Oh, you have none of it.
No.
And I'm like, I don't have any orthodontic coverage. She's like, no, zero. I'm like, what do and I'm like, I was like, I pay $240 a month, and like, what do I use? Like,
Yeah.
and she's like, and then this is the worst part. She's like, oh, okay, let's just look at your plan here. And then she's like, naturopath, homeopath, and I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding.
So you can go to a natural.
I have naturopathic and
You
homeopathic.
don't have dental.
Oh my God.
This world is fucked. This
I have
world is so
naturopathic
fucked.
and homeopath, like things that only exist because girls can bring their dogs to the clinic. And that's all I fucking have. Is I have this fucking lady brings Coco to the fucking, like lady brings cocoa and gets to talk to a lady for a whole hour
Oh my god.
about her problems, and then she gets a vial of memory water, and and I have 100% coverage on that memory agua.
Oh, well then go get some memory water and get
Yeah,
the
I'm gonna get my
naturopath your kids'
holistic braces.
Go take your kid. Yeah, go take your kid into a naturopath and be like, fix this.
Naturopathic braces.
Well, what you're gonna need to
Well, we
do,
took another X-ray and they haven't changed a fucking millimeter.
What you're gonna need to do is rub turmeric on your gums.
There's a reason why naturopaths don't do anything that shows. You know what I mean? Like anything that you could take an MRI and figure out it doesn't do anything, guess what? Homeopaths ain't doing it. Otherwise, there would be a naturopathic dental clinic where they'd be like, my tooth is in excruciating agony. Like, here, let me just rub a leaf on it. And then, oh, that's so much the same, you cunt!
So much the same, you cunt.
Like,
That's
can you
ridiculous.
imagine
This is
a naturopathic
fucking all
dentist?
insurance is a scam.
Hi there, I'm a homeopathic orthodontist. I take X-rays with these crayons.
I just do some Reiki over your cheeks and then you got a
Yeah,
straight
I do a little fucking cheek Reiki and then I straighten your smile. Doesn't he look so much better than an original photograph? Like, I think it looks the fucking same. Like, don't be like that, Randy.
Oh my god, Randy's really getting shit on today.
Randy, take Coco and get out of here.
Honestly, insurance is a scam. All of it is a scam.
Of course it is. Yeah,
it's so fucking stupid. Even car insurance. So I got my car that I still don't have, by the way. I still don't have my fucking car that I bought like 2 months ago. But anyway, so I went to insure it and then I get in the mail my insurance and I look at what my new premium is and it's like $435 a month. And I nearly shit my
insane.
pants. I almost shit my pants.
Why is it that much?
Well, then I look and it said vehicle 1, vehicle 2. So the idiot on the other line thought that I kept my van and then just added this one. Like, yeah, I'm really going to keep a 20-year-old vehicle and get a new one. Yeah. Anyway, so then I'm like,
what do I look like, a cosigner?
Exactly. What a co-signer. So then I call them and she's like, we actually caught that mistake. We saw it. I'm like, well, why didn't anybody tell me? But anyway, so we saw, so we're getting it fixed. So then I get a week later or a couple days later, I get the new package and I look and it's like $350 a month. And I was, $300 a month. And I was like, what the fuck? And I look and it says vehicle 1, vehicle 2. And I'm like, so I called her up and I'm like, it still says vehicle 1, vehicle 2. And she goes, oh, but if you look that there's a negative dollar amount for that vehicle for rebating or whatever. And then I'm like, and so I said, so $300 a month is how much it costs to insure me with 0 tickets, 0 accidents anymore, nothing. $300 a month. And she goes, yeah, because it's a newer vehicle. And I'm like, $300 a month to insure a vehicle for a driver with a clean record.
And it's not crazy new. It's 2014.
Exactly. And she's like, yeah, no, that's the normal rate. And I was like, okay. And then I just hung up. I'm like, you fucking pieces of shit in insurance.
Yeah. So no coverage. No orthodontic coverage.
Month. It makes me want to get into car accidents. Because I swear to God, I keep paying into all this shit. And then I just want, I'm going to hit a pedestrian soon.
Poof.
Watch out.
Sorry. Don't worry, it's covered by insurance.
Because, like, you would think that with insurance, if you don't make a claim for 5 years, they give you, like, $1,000.
You know what'd be funny is hit a pedestrian hard. And then when they get up, like, take a look at where you've damaged them and go, like, I don't think that's over 1,000. So I don't know if the police need to get involved because healthcare is free.
Oh, my God.
So you can get that fixed free, right?
Oh, my God. Like, I remember when I got, like, remember my Saturn?
Yes.
My little Saturn. So it was like in April and there was like a freezing rain and I was stopped at a stop sign and I looked behind me and this girl was coming for me and I'm like, oh, she is not stopping. Like, I don't think she realized how icy the roads were. And so I just was like, okay, here we go. And I got slammed. She slammed into the back of me, destroyed the back end of my vehicle. And then the insurance company, I was just like, please just give me the money so then I'll just go buy a newer vehicle and I'm fine with that. They're like, no, we're going to fix it. I'm like, you're going to fix it? I'm like, they quoted it as $5,000 to fix it. That car is not worth like $1,200. And they're like, no, we're going to fix it. And I was like, can I just please have like $1,000 to get a new car? And they're like, no, we're going to fix it. So they fixed it. Like, why though?
God.
Like, what is the fucking reasoning behind behind that. Like, my car was not worth how much it cost to fix that car. And then I just sold it a couple of years later for like $1,200, which is what it was worth.
Like, I'm talking about a car, not a cat, right?
Yeah, I'm like, kill the car.
Why
I
would
don't
kill
give a
the
shit.
car?
We're
Euthanize
fine.
it and
Let's
keep
put
it.
this car down.
Yeah.
Mama wants a PT Cruiser. I tried a
No,
PT Cruiser convertible because I just wanted a convertible so bad. And then I was like, I test drove it. It was awful. I'm like, I don't want a convertible.
I
this
wanted a
bad.
convertible so bad.
I did.
Yeah, you
I still
fucking-
do.
Yeah, with your little broomstick in mid-January, like, I gotta get that snow off. It's so cold in
I
here.
know it's stupid to have a convertible in Edmonton.
Oh
but
no, Johnny
if you
Soft
had a
Top.
garage, it would make sense.
Johnny Soft Top.
Johnny Soft Top. It's
You're running around.
freezing. It's freezing. Yeah.
I gotta go to trivia.
Okay, so we gotta scratch this real quick then.
Scratch it and win.
Okay, I doubled down. This is a $10 ticket because we won $5 last week. This one's called 1 Million Royale.
Ooh.
So we could win $1 million.
Royale.
But the thing is, they are not like they used to be, where it's like,
One day we're gonna win so much money that we're just gonna laugh about our old podcasts.
I know.
Remember when we were like $7,600? Remember when we thought that was a lot of money? Ha 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 ha.
I can't wait for that day.
Remember we thought 7,600 for braces was a real. Hey Sean, did you ever look at that online thing? Nah, I
No, we
just
just
gave
paid
them
for it.
7,600. I sprayed it in their face. All tens. That's what I should fucking do. Is pay them the $7,600, but all fives.
Oh yeah, you should. Or all pennies. They can't say no.
Well,
They
pennies
still
they
have
can
to
probably say.
accept
They have to
pennies.
accept pennies.
Don't you still have to accept them?
I don't know.
I don't know. Nickels at least.
I don't think I would go pennies.
Dimes are worse than nickels though. I think they're small and itty. And
They would really
annoying.
fuck my kids' teeth up if I did that.
No, do it after.
Give
though.
them the Dracula tray. Like,
What's the Dracula tray?
that's the Invisalign that turns you into a blood-sucking animal.
Oh my god. This takes a long time.
It really does.
I gotta start doing arms. I went and saw a movie called Britney Runs a Marathon.
Spears?
No, not Britney Spears Runs a Marathon.
Oh,
Anyway, it was really good. It's about an overweight girl that's ran a marathon, and I related to it a lot. And I'm bawling watching this movie, but it was really good. Now I want to run, but I'm like, I'm gonna go for one run and be like,
so what do we have to do here? Oh, we got a
to match
matchy
a
match.
number. Do you see any that match?
Of course not.
32, 9,
Oh,
46.
for fuck's sakes. We just,
We just can't catch a break, can we?
no. Not even enough to get
Not even.
one fucking tray on that.
Yeah, like not even a $20 break.
No.
Oh, this is ridiculous. I don't see anything either, but I will take it to double verify. But
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You've got to double verify.
double verify, you never
in case
know.
that 47 is actually a 48.
Sorry, this one. Look at this. It's pretty though.
It
There,
is kind of pretty.
but I won't spread it everywhere.
Well, thanks. Thanks for listening to the podcast.
Thanks for listening. Enjoy trivia.
It's gonna be great. That'll pay for 3% of braces.